After experiencing the wonder of Mario entering the world of 3D, and then the wonder of Mario being forced to be a janitor, I wasn't really sure what Nintendo would end up doing with their next 3D Mario game that could possibly live up to any of my unrealistic expectations. So they shot Mario into space, the final frontier, in Super Mario Galaxy, a game that provided not just fun, or that certain Mario charm, but also a lot of vertigo on my part, and few games can do that while also letting me have a good time, so thanks, Nintendo. But before his Mario adventure of galactic proportions reached its final destination, words, like many games, it underwent numerous changes throughout its development. So, I figured I would talk about them in a video. Today on Gaming Mysteries, I'll be talking about the beta and development of Super Mario Galaxy. Now, the concept for Super Mario Galaxy originated from the Super Mario 128 tech demo that was shown off back at Space World 2000. The director of the demo, Yoshiaki Koizumi, was especially infatuated with one aspect of the demo, and that was sphere-based platforms, so much so that he desired to make full use of the idea in an actual game. But he felt that actually pulling it off might be impossible due to the current technical limitations. So, for the time being, the idea was put aside. Miyamoto, though, remained very interested in the concept, so much so that after EAD Tokyo finished up work on Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, Miyamoto approached them and asked if they would be interested in making a high-profile game starring established Nintendo characters. This led to one of the staff members suggesting that the team did have the skill set to make a Mario game, and Koizumi fully believed that the Jungle Beat team had the ability to make sphere-based platforms work. And so, this man set his sights towards the Wii for the new game, and gathered a small team in order to create a prototype. Space was chosen as the overall theme, as Koizumi felt that most players would interpret spherical shapes as planets, and gravity was added due to it being vital to the intergalactic experience. The prototype overall took about 3 months to put together, and after being shown off to Nintendo approved it, obviously, and I want to think that Miyamoto probably shot off one of those party popper things when this was all happening, also. But with the prototype complete, it was time for the world to get a look at the new Mario game, and so Super Mario Galaxy was publicly displayed at E3 2006 for the world to see at E3 2006, and judge, and waggle their arms while figuring out controls at a public event. The realism was stunning. But if you pull yourself away from the flailing, you'll begin to notice a different game, and so this is where I'd like to start talking about the various differences and omissions from Galaxy. These range from some different gameplay mechanics, different sound effects, though honestly it's just placeholder stuff like Mario's voice being from Sunshine, and a bunch of unused stuff like characters, random models, a really cool looking stage. So to start, I'll go over the gameplay differences and then we'll hop into Unused Land. Now immediately, the first thing that stands out to me in the beta is Mario's health. In the final product, your health was divided into 3, but here it looks more akin to something found in Mario 64, for example, with you having a lot more health, that of 8 in this case, and as it went down, it would change color in a similar fashion. Mario could spin indefinitely here, whereas in the final version there would be a pause in place to prevent that. Another little bonus to this version is that the spin would allow Mario to attract coins towards him, but 'tis a no-go in the final game because that would be too much fun. In the early version of Galaxy, the player's star cursor held the power of the gods, as it not only was used to get those star bits, but it also contained all of the two-player functionality that was found in the final game. So you could, as an example, hold enemies, which may seem a little bit overpowered, but in the cursor's defense, he had it kind of rough, as in the prototype, you couldn't pick up star bits by simply moving the cursor over them, you needed to hit B, which sounds kind of sucky. And speaking of sucky, in this version of the game, in order to use the pull star, you would have to keep your cursor on the target at all times, as well as hold down the A button, instead of simply holding down the A button. And to make matters worse, Goombas wouldn't spin if you launched them, which brings me sorrow. For most of the missing gameplay elements I listed, those were omitted simply because they made the game far too easy. In fact, some speculate that things like the life meter being at 8 were only there so that the press would have no issue with dying on a level and being able to get a star and stuff, but it's kinda hard to say because I was not there. So with my absence known, let's talk about a bunch of unused stuff. Now, many of someone's favorite Mario characters ended up being left out of this game, such as Kinopi, Iron Goomba, The bullies from Super Mario 64, an incredibly derpy looking flower. Iceman, Octopus Queen. Yeah, I know, that one threw me off a bit too. This thing, Starman, Flame Gun, and one can't forget, Yuriofwind. Then again, one can't be expected to forget nightmares. Aside from unused characters, there are a number of unused models, some of note being this red switch, which is speculated to be a checkpoint switch, this odd charge spot that features a symbol that's otherwise unused in the final game, this genie hand with no body attached to it for some reason, a very simplified Wiimote type controller named the RV Con, RV standing for Revolution, which was the code name for the Wii, so that's a neat find, though I'm not really sure why the controller's in there, a penguin hat, which is a hat with a penguin inside it, and my personal favorite unused model, this radish with a smiley face. Though if you think omissions end at a smiling radish, you're wrong, as even areas and levels or planets were also omitted from the game, so now we're going to talk about levels that you and I didn't get to experience in the final game. First up, we have Star World, which I'm sure some of you have at least heard of, but Star World was created as a demonstration galaxy for E3 2006. The galaxy itself is comprised of various planets taken from other galaxies within the game, making it a smorgasbord of levels of sorts, I would say. There were multiple paths to take, multiple bosses to fight, and multiple stars to be found, assuring that anyone playing the demo would be able to find a star before they got kicked out. Now, although Star World was obviously omitted from the final product because it was just meant to be a demonstration of the overall game, every planet in Star World would end up making their way into the final game, except for one, Star World's starting planet, Home Planet. Now, there's nothing to really note of the planet other than that it's filled with eggs and creatures called cosmic toads who had stars on their heads, and they would tell Mario how to perform Mario things. And then the cosmic toads were said to have been turned into Lumas, which seems pretty logical for me. As for the planet itself on which they stood, for unknown reasons, it was just left out of the game. Though unfinished models of the planet still remain within the game, and I should probably also mention that the game's, or I should say that this unused area used the music from Good Egg Galaxy, so now no one will have to say that. Granted, they'll correct me on other things in a bit. Oh, damn it. Besides this, there are other little miscellaneous planets that were left out, though some of them are a little unfinished, like this one, or they don't have much going on, like this one. But the ones I felt worth noting are Star Planet, Planet Disk, Normal Galaxy, which doesn't have a picture, but it's a sphere and it's very normal, Stardust Star, and Pol Unizo Land Planet. Not super important cool planets, so not a huge loss, but there is one planet I do wish to grieve for, and that's Starman Fortress, or Starman Fort. Starman Fortress is an area that was designed at the very beginning of the game's development. As the name would imply, it was a giant fortress that kind of had a lot going on. The area was part snow, part grass, part water, part giant fortress, but what was more important than the variety found within the area was the meaning behind said area for the developers, as Starman Fortress is the planet that, for the team, solidified what Super Mario Galaxy was. The fortress would end up undergoing numerous changes, 7ish or so I've heard, but much to the dismay of the team, the area didn't make its way into the final game. Perhaps the area was a bit too ambitious, though omitted or not, it really is a lovely design. And now to wrap things up, a little bit of miscellaneous info. To start, let's take a look at this early concept art of Rosalina, looking quite different, and similar to a certain somebody who gets kidnapped by cakes. Yes, evidently Rosalina was intended to be related to Princess Peach. Good stuff. Oh, and her name was originally going to be Rosetta, which is a direct translation of her Japanese name, which comes from a type of orbit. I don't really mind the name change, though. I can't help but feel they changed it just so people wouldn't bring up Rosetta Stone. Aside from this, it was originally intended for Yoshi to accompany Mario on his journey through space, and Mario would do said journeying on Starship Mario instead of through the observatory. Of course, while it's a shame that these were omitted from the game, they were added in the sequel, so everybody's a winner. But that was the beta and my ramblings of Super Mario Galaxy. I can't really say anything omitted bothers me too much, except for like the fortress and the spinning thing, but those aside, the game turned out great, being better than anything I had expected, and being hands down one of the few Wii games where I will gladly waggle my arms around like a total idiot. This has been Gaming Mysteries, thanks for watching. Welcome back to End Slate, where I guarantee no one expected me to upload a video again this soon. Especially not a Gaming Mysteries, so caught everyone off guard. Good for me. But I hope you guys enjoyed the Gaming Mysteries on the beta of Super Mario Galaxy. I've been meaning to tackle the topic for a while now, so much so that it was just starting to bother me, so I just had to do it. And now I'll be able to sleep again at night. But enough of that. Oh, I hope you enjoyed the video, by the way, really. But let's get into this End Slate world of recommending videos for the End Slate and talking about stuff. The first video I'd like to recommend to you fine people is the last video I uploaded on this channel just a week ago. Novelty weekly videos. Let's not get used to it. But it was a Gaming Mysteries on The Legend of Zelda, The Mystical Seed of Courage. Well, part of a trilogy, canceled Zelda game. I did a video on it. And if you missed that or want to check it out or something like that, you may do so. And the other video I'd like to recommend is my Gaming Mysteries on the beta of Conker's 64, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Conker. I did that video too a while back, so hope you enjoy that. Also, if you want to subscribe or like the video or something like that, that's appreciated as always, but not forced. Appreciated, not forced. And was that everything? Yeah. Yeah, I think that was everything. Mention the video, mention the other thing. Yeah. Okay, so that's End Slate. I'll see you guys next time on End Slate. Next time will be the story. I know I said this time was going to be the story. Next time will be the story, promise. But I'll see you guys next time on End Slate.